कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। लोकाविराम रणधीरम राजीवनेत्रम रघुवंशनाथम कारुण्यरूपम करुणाकरन्तम श्रीरामचन्द्रं शरणं प्रपद्यते, श्रीरामचन्द्रं शरणं प्रपद्यते। जनकसुतावरं जगजननी जानकी अतिशय प्रिया करुणानिधान की। श्री राम जय जय राम। 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 श्री राम 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 जय 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 राम। दशरथ नंदन राम जय जय राम। श्री 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 राम जय जय राम। राम लक्ष्मण जानकी, राम लक्ष्मण जानकी, जय बोलो हनुमान की, जय बोलो हनुमान की। राम लक्ष्मण जानकी, जय बोलो हनुमान की। राम लक्ष्मण जानकी, जय बोलो हनुमान की। राम लक्ष्मण जानकी, जय बोलो हनुमान की। राम लक्ष्मण राम श्री राम जय जय राम। राम श्री राम जय जय राम। जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम। जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम। राम श्री राम जय जय राम। बोलो बोलो राम जय जय राम। जय 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 राम जय जय हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shree Ram Chandra Kripalu Bhajamana Bharana Bhava Bhaya Darunam Navakan Jalochanakan Jamukakan Panjapadakan Jarunam. Shree Ram Chandra Kripalu Bhajamana Bharana Bhava Bhaya Darunam Navakanjalochanakan Jamukakarakan Japadakan Jarunam. Shree Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shree Ram, Shree Ram, Shree Ram. Kandar Paya Ganita Amita Chadinava Nirani Raja Sundaram Patapitama Nutari Karukusad Jami Jana Kasutavaram. Shree Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shree Ram, Shree Ram, Shree Ram. Shree Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajamana Bharana Bhava Bhaya Darunam Navakan Jalochanakan Jamukakarakan Japadakan Jarunam. Shree Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shree Ram. Vajadina Bandhu Dinesha Dhanava Daitavan Shanukandanam Raghunandaya Nandakanda Kosha Dasharathanandanam Raghunandaya Nandakanda Kosha Chandragasharathanandanam. Shree Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shree Ram, Shree Ram, Shree Ram. Sira Mukuta Kundala Tiratachar Udarayanga Vibhushanam Ajanubhujasar Chapadhar Sangramajita Kar Bhushanam. Shree Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shree Ram, Shree Ram, Shree Ram. Iti vadati Tulasidas शंकर शेष मुनि मन रंजनम मम हृदय कुंज निवास कुरु विठल दल गंधनम मम हृदय कुंज निवास कुरु विठल दल गंधनम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम श्री राम श्री राम। बोलो श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नॉर्मल भी everybody हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे राम लक्ष्मण जानकी युद्ध से जय बोलो हनुमान की राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की जय बोलो हनुमान की जय बोलो हनुमान की हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे लोकाभिराम रणधीरम राजीव नेत्रम रघुवंशनाथम कारुण्यरूपम् करुणाकरन्तम् श्रीरामचन्द्रम् शरणं प्रपदे। श्रीराम जय राम जय जय राम। 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 दशरथ नंदन जय श्री राम। दशरथ नंदन जय श्री राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय 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 राम। जय प्रभुपदा 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 शिल प्रभुपदा। जय गौरनिताय 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 जय गौरनिताय। जय किशोर किशोरी जय किशोर किशोरी जय किशोर किशोरी जय किशोर किशोरी। जय जगन्नाथ जगन्नाथ बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा। प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद। जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव। बोलो श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की।
વગાડો વગાડો હાર્મોનિયમ વગાડો. અરે ચાલશે જેવું આવ્યું.
नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णवेष्टाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने. नमस्ते सरस्वती देवं गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशितारिणी. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे राजा राम 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 सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 लंका राम 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 सीता 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 राम 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 राजा 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 राम 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 सीता राम 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 श्री राम जय राम जय जय 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 राम जय राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम रघुपति राघव राजा राम, रघुपति राघव राजा राम, पतित पावन सीताराम, पतित पावन सीताराम, रघुपति राघव राजा राम, रघुपति राघव राजा राम, पतित पावन सीताराम, पतित पावन सीताराम, सीताराम जय सीताराम, सीताराम जय सीताराम, सीताराम जय सीताराम, सीताराम जय सीताराम, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare 6 बजे तक नहीं आपका Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 बोलो बोलो Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 बोलो बोलो Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare जय गौरनिताय 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 जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय 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 जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय शिव जय जय गौरा चांदे आरती का शोभा शिव जय जय गौर चंदे आरती को सोहा जाना बने जग मन लोभा जाना दक्षिणे नेताय चाँद वामे गदाधर निकटे आगता श्री वस छत्रधार निकटे शिव बसे गौर रत्न सिंहासने शिव बसे गौर रत्न सिंहासन आरती करे ब्रह्मा आदि देवगणे आरती नर हरि आदि करे समर डुलाय संजय मुकुंद बसो घोषो दिगाय संजय शिव शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल ओ मधुरा मृदंग बाजे परम रसाल मधुरा ओ शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे शंख बाजे ओ शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे शंख बाजे ओ माधुर 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 बाजे ओ माधुर 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 बाजे ओ शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे ओ शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरे बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर शिव बहु कोटि चंद्र जीने बदन उज्ज्वल शिव बहु कोटि चंद्र जीने बदन उज्ज्वल गला दे सेवना माला करे झलमाला गला दे शिव शिव सुकनारदा प्रेमे गद गदा शिव शिव भक्ति विनोद देखे गौर रस पाद भक्ति जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद जय प्रभु नित्यानंद अद्वैत गदाधर गौर भक्त जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद जय प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम रघुपति राम रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम रघुपति पतित पावन ओ सीताराम सीताराम पतित पावन सीताराम सीताराम ओ सीताराम सीताराम पतित पावन सीताराम सीताराम ओ रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम रघुपति ओ हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे ओ हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे बोल हरे राम राम हरे हरे ओ हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे ओ हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे गौरंग हरे राम राम हरे हरे ओ हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे बोलो बोलो हरे राम हरे ओ हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे ओ हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा ओ हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे गीता 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 राम ओ हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे ओ हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Oh Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Oh Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Oh Ram Lakshman Jaan ke Jai Bola Hanuman ke Ram Lakshman Jaan ke Jai Bola Hanuman ke Oh Ram Lakshman Jaan ke Jai Bola Hanuman ke Oh Jai Bola Hanuman ke Ram Lakshman Jaan ke Oh Jai Bola Hanuman ke Ram Lakshman Jaan ke Oh Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओ हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे ओ हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओ हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम। ओ हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम। ओ जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ स्वामी जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ स्वामी जय जगन्नाथ। ओ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा। ओ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा ओ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा। ओ हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे। हरे कृष्णा ओ किशोर किशोरी जय किशोर किशोरी 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 किशोर किशोरी जय किशोर किशोरी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे राम हरे हरे। कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। गौरानिता जय गौरानिता 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 गौरानिता जय गौरानिता। ओ हरे कृष्णा ओ हरे कृष्णा ओ हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। प्रभुपाद 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 Prabhupada, 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 O Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, O Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, O Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, O Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Neta Gol, Hari Bol, 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 Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Premanande, जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की नित्य लीला प्रविष्टो विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर जगतगुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की ब्रह्म मतो गौड़ीय संप्रदाय आचार्य गुरुवर की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत श्री गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की श्री वृंदावन धाम की श्री मायापुर धाम की श्री नवदीप धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा माई की जमुना माई की तुलसी देवी की भक्ति देवी की समाहित गौर भक्त वृंद की सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान जी की सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान जी की रामनवमी महामहोत्सव की ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga all glories to Srila Prabhupada Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Vishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve
Okay. Sing. Namaste Narasimhaya Kala Dala Dadaine Hiranyakashi Purvakyaha Shrilatanka Nakhalaye Ito Nasingha Parato Nasingha Ito Nasimha Parato Nasimha Yato Yato Yamitato Nasimha Pahi Nasimha Hridaye Nasimha Narasimha Madim Sharanam Prapate Tabakara Kamala Bare Nakham Adhuta Shingham Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanovingham Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Keshavadeta Narahari Rupa Jagadisha Hare Jaya 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 Nasimha Hare Jaya Nasimha Hare Nasimha Hare Jaya Nasimha Hare Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Bhakta Prahlad. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol. नरसिंह भगवान की जय, प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गोविंदे हरि हरि बोल।
Hare Krishna,
कृष्णा
Hare Krishna,
कृष्णा
Krishna Krishna,
कृष्णा कृष्णा
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Happy Ram Navami ki jai. All right. So, welcome to our Saturday feast program in honor of Ram Navami. Just a quick reminder, there will be no Sunday feast program tomorrow since we are gathered here together today to celebrate this event, this festival. However, there are a few quick announcements before we welcome His Grace Anuttama Prabhu. who will be tonight's speaker. So, just a request, if you have small children that have a lot of energy, there's plenty of space downstairs to allow them to run around and play. So know that that's available. Also, Hare Krishna! So also, registration is open for the Krishna Kids Summer Camp. The dates for the camp are June 17th through June 21st. So if you're interested in that, it's available for children ages 5 through 12. Also, registration is open for the Krishna Homeschool Convention, and that takes place July 13th and 14th. It's the first of its kind. It's going to be hosted right here at ISKCON Chicago. It's a fantastic opportunity. Please take advantage of it. And finally, tomorrow morning. So many of us are aware of the departure of His Grace Vishwakarma Prabhu. So last Thursday was the funeral service. However, tomorrow at 10:30 in the morning, there will be a memorial service here at the temple, followed by a feast at 1 p.m. So it will be an opportunity for us as a community to come together to reflect on the life of this amazing devotee, this pillar of ISKCON Chicago. So highly encourage everyone to attend. It will be a very sweet event, I can promise you that. And also in his honor, the feast will be very sumptuous. So finally, turning it over to tonight's speaker, His Grace Anuttama Prabhu. So many of us have had the good fortune to hear from him, but if you're not familiar with who he is, he's the ISKCON Director of Communications, and he's also the GBC, the Governing Body Commissioner, responsible for the Chicago Temple. And he's been active on the Governing Body Commission since 1999. He's also a very prominent speaker, going to many interfaith events to present Krishna consciousness, and is working hard to make Krishna conscious perspective a more part of the mainstream discussion points around current events. So very important and dynamic service that he does. So I'd like to invite you to address us on this festival of Ram Navami. Hare Krishna.
I was at a very fancy hotel last night for a program, a gala event, and they were fiddling around with the microphones for about 15 minutes, and I was thinking, oh, this is so nice, we're not the only ones that have this problem. So we'll chant just a couple more minutes. Jai Radha Madhava. Jai Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari
Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jabhalava Girvarirari Gopi Jabhalava Girvarirari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamuna Chiravanachari Yamuna Chiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalava Girvarirari Gopi Janavalava Girvarirari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamuna Chiravanachari Yamuna Chiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Shri Shri Kishore Kishore Ki Jai Shri Jagannath Shri Baladev Shrimati Subhadra Ki Jai Shri Shri Gaunitai Ki Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaura Premanandi. So many movies. Namo Om Vishnu Paraya Krishna Stabhale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Samaniti Ramani Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Mitrani Neva Sesastam Pastajani. Hare Krishna. So it's nice to be back in Chicago. My wife is from Chicago, my in-laws are from Chicago, so in one sense I'm from Chicago. I will admit I grew up in Detroit, and those of you that live in Chicago should be very proud of your city in comparison to Detroit. First time I came back here a few years ago, and some people said, well, let's go downtown. I said, downtown? Why would anybody go downtown after dark? And I was very surprised to see what a thriving city it is. And the community here is very nice as well. And of course the deities are exceptionally beautiful and cared for very nicely. So today is the appearance day of Lord Ramachandra. Very, very auspicious day. Who's wearing green here? I'm not. Some temples you'll go on Ram Navami, everybody's wearing green. You kind of have your green big bag there, right, Prabhu? It's kind of blue-green. Okay, so it's nice to
we want to try to remember Lord Ramachandra today. So we know that the story of Lord Ramachandra is told in many places. Some temples, they have devotees. I don't know if we do it here. Some temples, devotees come and they read the whole Ramayana in Sanskrit or sometimes the Hindi version for like a week leading up to Lord Ram's appearance day. So, and of course it's a very long story. And we understand in our Vaishnava culture, I was just at a conference for 3 days downtown called the Religion Communicators Council. So there's people from a variety of Christian groups and, you know, Catholics and Protestants, there's Baha'is, there's Hare Krishnas, there's some Jewish people, there's Seventh-day Adventists and some Buddhists, different traditions, different understandings of life and the purpose for life. And of course you go across the street. I was Ubering back and forth every day. It's always, I find it interesting to talk to the taxi drivers or the Uber drivers and ask them what their philosophy is of life. Everybody has some philosophy of life. So in Vaishnavism, we also have a philosophy of life, and ours is pretty well articulated, especially in the Bhagavad Purana, but all the different Vaishnava literatures that we study, which is, in simple terms, that God's a person, and we're persons, and we have a relationship with God. And these days, there's a lot of emphasis on people saying, I'm spiritual, I'm not religious. We probably all heard that. Largely due to the misuse, abuse of religious organizations, religious community, religious hierarchies, religious institutions. And a lot of people become disappointed or hurt or brokenhearted or disgusted. Especially today you read things in the news about some of the problems that go on within religious organizations. But if we're honest, we have to acknowledge those terrible things happen in practically every organization. I live in Washington, D.C. The political leadership is not very inspiring these days for many of us. Educational institutions oftentimes are not very inspiring. Right? There was a big scandal just a few weeks ago about universities cheating, right? If you're a VIP, if you're from Hollywood and you pay a lot of money, you can get your kid who practically didn't get out of high school, but you can get him into Harvard, right? So it's a sad situation that there's so much lack of integrity within society today. So that causes people a lot of lack of faith, and sometimes people say, well, you know, I don't believe in religion, I don't believe in God, I believe in spirituality, I believe there's something beyond just the day-to-day. But in the Vaishnava tradition, we kind of unabashedly say, actually, there's a person behind it all. It's kind of like our basic premise. I remember as a 19-year-old, I was a camp counselor at a Christian church camp, just happened to be Christian, called Camp Westminster. So it was really a church camp. But I remember as a camp counselor, and I was a student at the university, and I remember going out on the beach one night and having a man-to-man talk with God, because I was surrounded by all these religious people, and I wasn't very convinced. I just liked the camp. I didn't like the religious part of it at all. But I remember being out on the beach at night and saying, I don't want to have anything to do with you, because this world is really broken. It's a mess. And if you're actually controlling everything and you actually designed everything, you did a really rotten job. So please just stay out of my life, and I'm going to try to make the world better as best I can. So from that point, I realized later, Krishna's pretty kind, because there's a lot of people, if you spoke to them like that, you're in big trouble. That's the end of the relationship, right? But somehow I think he might have just kind of taken that like, oh, he noticed me. Here's this little foolish guy that actually noticed I'm here, so that's a good start. But a lot of people, because of frustration and different things, they give up on the concept of maybe there's a personal God. that there's a person, that there's a personality. When I first went to the Hare Krishna temple in Ann Arbor, Michigan, they kind of shocked me. I was going to different kind of Buddhist retreats and things like that, and the whole message was impersonalism. You just want to merge, or you want to become part of the void. You want to become part of the one. I went and heard a few yogis talk, and they would say, just know yourself. And then you'd pay like $20 to go hear them speak, and they would say, know yourself, know yourself. And I'm thinking like, so now I have to pay for a second ticket? Because they never said, what's yourself? They never got to that point. But Vaishnava tradition, and we would advocate strongly the essence of all of the Vedic writings, if you go deep enough, advocate that actually we're persons. We have a spiritual existence. It's a personal existence, and there is a supreme person. There's a supreme personality. And when I first went to the temple in Ann Arbor, Michigan, they told me something that kind of really shook me. They said, Krishna is the person that you're looking for. He's the person that everyone's looking for. And I kind of was at least honest enough with myself at that point that I acknowledged, I knew I'm looking for something. I'm looking for someone. In my era, there was a music group had a great song, We're All Looking for Someone, and that really connected. And I could see that it was a fact. People are all looking for someone, looking for something. And Vaishnavism clearly says from the get-go, we're looking for Krishna. Krishna explains in the Gita, he says he's our best friend, he's our protector, he's the all-attractive. The word Krishna means all-attractive. He's got the 6 opulences are analyzed, all beauty, all knowledge, like that, all strength. So he's that person. And we live in an era where people don't even want to have commitments, and even in like, you know, people are really afraid of commitments these days, isn't it? It's like, don't get married, and if you do, you better have a really thick legal agreement who gets what when you break up, isn't it? And even then, you better make a lot of money because you're going to want to pay a lawyer who can interpret that document more to your advantage than his or her lawyer who's going to interpret it to their advantage, right? It's kind of sad. It's not kind of sad. It's really sad. So in the midst of all that, Srila Prabhupada came to America in the middle of the 60s when one of the mantras was don't trust anyone over 30, and Prabhupada was 70, and somehow or other in the midst of this very turbulent time, he told an audience of almost exclusively young people at that time, actually, there's a God. It's like, whoa, God, who wants to deal with God? And he's a person. Of course, there's this she and he, Radha and Krishna there. But God's a person. You have a relationship with Krishna, and he's actually your best friend. And you've been looking for him for a long, 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 long time, and he's been waiting for you for a long, 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 long time. That's the essence of the Vaishnava message. So here today on Ram Navami, we're celebrating one of the appearance days, one of the days that historically is marked as this is one of the times when Krishna came, and one of his many, many times. He comes again and again and again. Yada yada hi dharma shaglani bhaviti bharata. Krishna says he comes again and again. Wherever there's a decline in wisdom and spiritual understanding, he comes to try to redirect society. Which is kind of an amazing thing, because that puts to rest one of the big dilemmas for a lot of people in the world, which is if there's some truth, why is there so many competitive ideas? And why does, Buddhism seems to say some things that kind of work with Vaishnavism, but kind of doesn't. And Christianity says it's exclusive, and certain sects of Islam say they're exclusive, even against other sects of Islam, and you guys are all just fighting anyway, so one more reason to just have another beer. Isn't it? It's a lot of people, that's just like, and they're and then sometimes people meet religious people who are sincere, but maybe not, we would use the term advanced, maybe not so deep in their experience, maybe not so mature, see things a little narrow-minded, and then, you put two narrow-minded people in a narrow-minded hall and it leads to a conflict. But our understanding given by our acharyas is not like that. It's broad-minded, Mahatma, to see that actually the differences in different spiritual traditions are there because Krishna, God, Yahweh, Allah, Jehovah, Adonai, Buddha, the Supreme Personality who comes in many different times and places and sends different representatives, he's very intent on trying to help people make progress out of this forgetful state of material consciousness and to reconnect with him. So he comes again and again and again. He has different teachers come again and again and again. There's different scriptures, all to kind of catch you like wherever you are, what's the next step? Which is another beautiful aspect of Vaishnavism, because our tradition does not teach it's all or nothing. It's not like, okay, either you accept Krishna in this life or you're finished, or you're lost, or Krishna ever completely rejects you. Our understanding is that Krishna is the best friend of every living entity. We've chosen to come into this material world, try to be happy separate from our original spiritual identity. We're trying on different kind of things. You try on one hat, makes you happy for a couple hours, you get tired of that, you're trying something else. You're trying a job for a couple of years, you get tired of that. You try a car for a couple of years, get tired of that. You move in a house for a couple of years, get tired of that. Ultimately, get tired of one body. Go in another one, try that for a few years. Even species, get tired of a species. You know, people a lot of times they think, wow, why can't I fly like a bird? Well, you can if you want to. That's really not the best thing to want. I might have mentioned this here once before. I remember I had a boss one time in a job I had in college, and I was telling him my favorite song is George Harrison, My Sweet Lord. And he told me that's not my favorite song. And then when it came playing on the track, he said, this is mine, listen to this. And the song was Dogs Run Free, Why Can't We? And I was just learning a little bit about karma and reincarnation and, you know, you get what you desire. And I thought, whoa, I don't know if that's a good song to be attached to. But anyway, so today's the day Lord Ram appeared. So let's read a little bit from the Bhagavatam. This is a very, very condensed version. Generally, it's not so nice just to kind of read a lot, but I think if you focus in the very condensed sentences, those of you that know the story, you'll know it's a very condensed version, but it's good to kind of think about the Lord's total pastime, and then we'll go on to some comments. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Being prayed for by the demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth Himself, directly appeared with His expansion and expansions of the expansion. Their holy names were Rama, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna. These celebrated incarnations thus appeared in 4 forms as the son of Maharaja Dasarath. O King Parikshit, the transcendental activities of Lord Ramachandra have been described by great saintly persons who have seen the truth. Because you have heard again and again about Lord Ramachandra, the husband of Mother Sita, I shall describe these activities only in brief. Please listen. So, to keep the promise of his father intact, Lord Ramachandra immediately gave up the position of king and, accompanied by his wife, Mother Sita, wandered from one forest to another on his lotus feet, which were so delicate that they were unable to bear even the touch of Sita's palms. The Lord was also accompanied by Hanuman, the king of monkeys, and by his own younger brother, Lord Lakshman, both of whom gave him relief from the fatigue of wandering in the forest. This is a very condensed version. Having cut off the nose and ears of Suparnaka, thus disfiguring her. If you don't know that part of the story, ask somebody later. That would take a while to explain. But one thing about God, He's really dramatic. He does really dramatic things. Some of you probably can testify in your own lives. You know, He does some pretty dramatic things. Sometimes it's not necessarily comfortable watching the drama that he brings into our lives, but as we make a little more, develop our experience in faith, we realize actually, like our Christian brothers say and sisters, he's the captain of the ship. And when we do that, then the ride's not as scary sometimes, actually becomes a little exciting. So, Suparnaka, thus disfiguring her, the Lord was separated from Mother Sita. He therefore became angry, moving his eyebrows, and thus frightened the ocean, who then allowed the Lord to construct a bridge to cross the ocean. Subsequently, the Lord entered the kingdom of Ravan to kill him, the evil king, like a fire devouring a forest. May that Supreme Lord Ramachandra give us all protection. So that's the whole thing in just one verse, but then here's a little expanded. In the arena of sacrifice performed by Vishwamrita, Lord Ramchandra, the king of Ayodhya, killed many demons, rakshasas, and uncivilized men who wandered at night in the mode of darkness. May Lord Ramchandra, who eliminated these demons in the presence of Lakshman, be kind enough to give us protection. O King, the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra were wonderful, like those of a baby elephant. Anybody ever seen a baby elephant? Who's kind of spoken in a different cultural time, but you can imagine that baby elephants are pretty cute. Okay, so in the assembly where Mother Sita was to choose her husband in the midst of the heroes of the world, he broke the bow belonging to Lord Shiva. This bow was so heavy that it was carried by 300 men. But Lord Ramachandra bent and strung it and then broke it in the middle, just as a baby elephant breaks a stick of sugar cane. Thus the Lord achieved the hand of Mother Sita, who was equally as endowed with transcendental qualities of form, beauty, behavior, age, and nature. Indeed, she was the goddess of fortune, who constantly rests on the chest of the Lord. While returning from Sita's home after gaining her at the assembly of competitors, Lord Ramachandra met Parshuram. Although Parshuram was very proud, having rid the earth of the royal order, he was defeated by the Lord, who appeared to be a Kshatriya of the royal order. Carrying out the order of his father, who was bound by promise to his wife, Lord Ramachandra left behind his kingdom, opulence, friends, well-wishers, residence, and everything else, just as a liberated soul gives up his life, and went to the forest with Sita. While wandering in the forest where he accepted a life of hardship, carrying his invincible bow and arrows in his hand, Lord Ramachandra deformed Ravan's sister, who was polluted with lusty desires. He also killed her 14,000 Rakshasa friends. O Maharaj Parikshit, when Ravan, who had 10 heads on his shoulders, it's dramatic, right? 10 heads. Even these Marvel comic movies, do they have any monsters with 10 heads yet? They haven't gotten there yet. We're like way ahead of those guys, huh? They got cool stories. We've got really cool stories. 10 heads, okay? When Ravan heard about the beautiful and attractive features of Sita, his mind was agitated by lusty desires, and he went to kidnap her. To distract Lord Ramachandra from his ashram, Ravan sent Maricha in the form of a golden deer. And when Lord Ramachandra saw that wonderful deer, he left his residence and followed it, and finally killed it with a sharp arrow, just as Lord Shiva killed Daksha. When Ramachandra entered the forest and Lakshman was also absent, the worst of the Rakshasas, Ravana, kidnapped Sita Devi, the daughter of the king of Videha, just as a tiger seizes unprotected sheep when the shepherd is absent. Then Lord Ramachandra wandered in the forest with his brother Lakshman, as if very much distressed due to separation from his wife. Lord Ramachandra, whose lotus feet are worshipped by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, had assumed the form of a human being. Thus he performed the funeral ceremony of Jatayu, who was killed by Ravan. The Lord then killed the demon named Kabanda, and after making friends with the monkey chiefs, he arranged for the deliverance of Mother Sita, and he went to the beach of the ocean. After reaching the beach, Lord Ramachandra fasted for 3 days, awaiting the arrival of the ocean personified. When the ocean did not come, the Lord exhibited his pastimes of anger. And simply by glancing over the ocean, all the living entities within it, including the crocodiles and sharks, were agitated by fear. Then the personified ocean fearfully approached Lord Ramachandra, taking all paraphernalia to worship him. Falling at the Lord's lotus feet, the personified ocean spoke as follows. O Supreme Person, all-pervading Supreme Person, we are dull-minded and did not understand who you are. But now we understand that you are the Supreme Person, the Master of the entire universe, the unchanging and original personality of Godhead. The demigods are infatuated with the mode of goodness, the Prajapatis with the mode of passion, and the Lord of ghosts with the mode of ignorance. But you are the master of all of these qualities. My Lord, you may use my water as you like. Indeed, you may cross it and go to the abode of Ravan, who is a great source of disturbance and crying for the entire three worlds. Please go dispatch him and thus regain your wife, Sita Devi. O great hero, although my water presents no impediment to your going to Lanka, please construct a bridge over it to spread your transcendental fame. Upon seeing this wonderfully uncommon deed of your lordship, all the great heroes and kings in the future will glorify you. Sukadeva Goswami continued, after constructing a bridge over the ocean by throwing into the water the peaks of mountains, whose trees and other vegetation had been shaken by the hands of the great monkey soldiers, Lord Ramachandra went to Lanka to release Sita Devi from the clutches of Ravan. With the help of the Bibhishan, Ravan's brother, the Lord, along with his monkey army, headed by Sugriva Hanuman, entered Ravan's kingdom. After entering Lanka, the monkey soldiers, led by chiefs like Sugriva, Nila, and Hanuman, occupied all of the various sporting houses, granaries, treasuries, etc. When Ravan, the master of the Rakshasas, saw the disturbances created by the monkey soldiers, he called for his great generals. He induced all of his followers to fight against the perceived enemies of the army of Lord Ram. Lord Ramachandra, surrounded by Lakshman and the monkey soldiers, attacked the soldiers of Rakshasas, who were fully equipped with various invincible weapons like swords, lances, bows, prasas, rishtis, shakti arrows, khagas, and tomaras. No idea what those are, but pretty fierce weapons. Angada and the other commanders of the soldiers of Ramchandra faced the elephants, infantry, horses, and chariots of the enemy and hurled against them. Who knows? What did they have? What weapons did Ramachandra's army have? Yeah, trees and rocks and stones, and some were pretty strong. Mountain peaks. Thus, the soldiers of Lord Ramchandra killed Ravan's soldiers who had lost all good fortune because Ravan had been condemned by the anger of Mother Sita. So Rama was a very, very nasty person. We think in terms of the 20th century, you know, people like Stalin and Hitler and other very atrocious people who exploited their own citizens and others, and the entire world was pleased when they were killed because they caused so much misery, so much pain to millions, literally millions and millions of people. So Ravan is kind of like all of them times 10. So that's why there's this kind of violent part of the story of Ram's army attacking him, because Ravan was very, very evil personality. Thereafter, when Ravan, the king of the Rakshasas, observed that his soldiers had been lost, he was extremely angry. He mounted his airplane, which was decorated with flowers, and proceeded toward Lord Ramachandra, who sat in the effulgent chariot brought by Matali, the chariot driver of Indra. Thus, Ravana struck Lord Ramachandra with sharp arrows. Now here, those of you that like good fights, I was talking with a woman I know in Russia today who's a boxer. Any boxers here? Anybody does martial arts? Just a few? Okay, these lyrics are for you. You're going to like this part of the story. Okay? Okay, Lord Ramachandra said to Ravan, it's a special rasa, you are the most abominable of the man-eaters. Indeed, you are like their stool. When God wants to put you down, like he's good at it, huh? You are like a dog, Ravan, for as a dog steals eatables from the kitchen in the absence of the householder, in my absence you kidnapped my wife, Sita Devi. This is like heinous crime. I mean, he kidnapped the queen. Therefore, as Yamaraj punishes sinful men, I shall also punish you. You are most abominable, sinful, and shameless. Today, therefore, I, whose attempt never fails, shall punish you. After rebuking Ravan, Lord Ramchandra fixed an arrow on his bow, aimed at Ravan, and released the arrow, which pierced Ravan's heart like a thunderbolt. Upon seeing this, Ravan's followers raised a tumultuous sound, crying, "Alas, alas, what has happened? What has happened?" As Ravana fell from his airplane, just as a pious man falls to earth from the heavenly planets when the results of his pious activities are ended. Thereafter, all the wives of the husbands who had fallen on the battle headed by Mandodari, the wife of Ravana, came out of Lanka. Continuously crying, they approached the dead bodies of Ravan and the other Rakshasas. The women embraced their respective husbands and cried piteously in voices appealing to everyone, "O my Lord, O Master, you epitomized trouble for others, and therefore you were called Ravan. But now that you have been defeated, we are also defeated. For without you the state of Lanka has been conquered by the enemy. To whom will it go for shelter? O greatly fortunate one, you came under the influence of lusty desires." These are the wives to the king and his generals. "And therefore you could not understand the influence of Mother Sita," because they offended Sita, so. "Now because of her curse, you have been reduced to this state, having been killed by Lord Ramachandra. O pleasure of the Rakshasa dynasty," Rakshasa means man-eaters. It's a very evil kingdom. "Because of you, the state of Lanka, and also we ourselves have no protector. By your deeds, you have made your body fit to be eaten by vultures, and your soul fit to go to hell." Even Rama's wife knew she's married to this very evil man, and he should change his ways, and he didn't. And eventually his karma caught up with him. Sukadeva Goswami said, Vibhishan, the pious brother of Ravan and devotee of Lord Ramachandra, was then installed on the kingdom. And the Lord Vibhishan performed funeral ceremonies for his family members to save them from the path of going to hell. Thereafter, Lord Ramachandra found Sita Devi sitting in a small cottage beneath a tree named Simshapa in the forest of Ashoka trees. She was lean and thin, being aggrieved because of separation from him. Seeing his wife in that condition, Lord Ramachandra was very compassionate. When Ramchandra came before her, she was exceedingly happy to see her beloved, and her lotus-like mouth showed her joy. After giving Vibhishan the power to rule the Rakshasa population of Lanka for the duration of one kalpa, very, very long time, Lord Ramachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, placed Sita Devi on an airplane, decorated with flowers, and then got on the plane himself. The period for his living in the forest having ended, the Lord returned to Ayodhya, accompanied by Hanuman, Sugriva, and his brother Lakshman. When Lord Ramchandra returned to his capital Ayodhya, he was greeted on the royal road by the princely order, who showered him with beautiful, fragrant flowers, while great personalities like Lord Brahma and other demigods glorified the activities of the Lord in great jubilation. I think we'll stop there. Jai. Lord Ramchandra ki jai. Yeah, just one more verse. The citizens of Ayodhya, upon seeing their king return after a long absence, offered him flower garlands, waved their upper cloths, and danced in great jubilation. So, a very abbreviated version. But I think it's nice to remind ourselves of the whole story. So some reflections on this. What does this mean to us today? We don't face 10-headed demons. And actually do live in a world where people are kidnapped and ransomed. It just happened recently, right? There was 2 Americans, woman and her guide. What country was that? They were, where was it? In the Congo. Yeah, kidnapped, right? And I don't think they ever told how much ransom they paid, but they paid some ransom. And those are two that got rescued. You don't hear so much about the ones that don't get rescued. So it's kind of a nasty world in many ways. So a few reflections on this. One, Krishna, the Lord, and he came as Ramchandra, is very involved in the world. Again, it's our Vaishnava take on the world according to our teachers, and we begin to experience this in our lives as we go on in Krishna consciousness. He's very involved in the world. He cares, like Rama came because just as Krishna came, just as, in a sense, Jesus came, and so many other great teachers, as well as the Supreme Lord himself. When the world gets really off, then Krishna, Ram, here he comes to help and to reset the direction of the world. And the great teachers or acharyas explain to us that actually, if we have the eyes to see, we see him working in the world all around us. And practically, when we awaken our love, then we see that positive action everywhere. But because our consciousness is currently covered, our soul's consciousness kind of expressed through the body and whatever senses we have. You know, we like to eat certain things and hear certain things and touch certain things because we're the consciousness within the body, but we have this machine of a body. You know, and like, I like, many of you maybe take hot showers. Some people like cold showers, right? Yogis are supposed to take cold showers. My senses are kind of strange. I take hot showers, but then I have to end with a cold shower. That's not the desire of my soul. It's just the body I have, right? And the feast is coming up in a few minutes. If I go up there and somebody gives me a huge pile of rice with a lot of dal and sends me on my way, I'm not happy. I want sabji and sweets. And the person next to me, you give them sabji, and they look at it like, where's the chickpeas? The sabji goes on the side. Where's the rice? Where's the dal? Where's the chickpeas, right? If you give me rice, dal, and chickpeas, it's like, what, are we fasting today? Right? So the body gets different kind of senses, but the consciousness is pure. But misunderstanding, think I am this body, human life, animals completely, but even the human species, we spend our life's energy pursuing things that our senses say are good. So you flip through a magazine and you see like a couch, and your mind goes, oh, I need that couch. And then they say financing available. Right? And then you open the mail and it says, we have another credit card for you. We're just going to ignore all of those other ones you have. We got more credit for you. Right? So next thing you know, you come home with a couch, and then you sit on it. It feels really good for like a couple days, a couple weeks. Then your best friend comes over and goes, you like that one? Right? You like that couch? And then you go, oh, or something else. Or it lasts for a few years, whatever. It doesn't last for very long. So, because we're so distracted by these different things, we can't see Krishna. He's actually here. He's actually present. He's in the heart of every living being. Describes in the Gita, he's the light of the sun, he's the light of the moon, he is the ocean, he's the taste and water, etc., etc., etc. That it's God's energy, God's presence that comes through. And he's a person behind all of that energy. But because we're so distracted, we can't see what's going on. So, first message, Krishna's involved, Krishna's here, but we need to awaken the eyes to see it. The second reflection from this pastimes, his activities are really amazing. I mean, again, you know, these days people, I fly a lot. I don't watch many movies, but when you're on the airplane, there's 9 of them going on around you, you know, and it's like pretty tough to just read the Bhagavad Gita the whole time and not look a little bit, you know. So like all these movies with these like amazing dramas and tensions and monsters and, you know, beautiful queens and handsome heroes, and it's like really, and people get pulled into that because we want exciting stories, isn't it? They're really cool. And they come out, every time they invent a new type of computer system and better software so it can move even faster and do wilder things. And I think with movies these days, you wondered, like, does anybody act at all, or is it all just computer? Before long, it'll all be computerized, right? Like now they can take your picture and they're abusing this. They put your head on pictures of other people and do terrible things. So, but the idea that people are really attracted to these wonderful stories. Krishna, Ramachandra, their stories are like way better than anything that people hear about here. It's just like it's described as a perverted reflection. So sometimes people read these stories, these histories, and they say, I don't really believe that. You believe 10-headed demon? Say, well, look at what you read. You just spent $20 to go look at something that turns itself from a car into a monster. Duh. Like, what do you think that's so good for? And that lasts for like maybe, what, 2 hours? Right? If you really like it, you can watch it a second time and maybe a third time. And by the third time, it's like, becomes like distasteful. You don't want to watch it again. You know, you put it on the shelf and maybe watch it a year later, right? But, so why not? The original Supreme Person has amazing activities, and all the elements that we're attracted to, you know, in modern stories or ancient stories, excitement, adventure, love, treasonous acts, pleasure, these things are actually originally there in the spiritual world in a pure form. But we're looking for them, but we don't know what to look for. And by hearing these pastimes, these histories, it actually is beneficial for us. So, one, Krishna's present. Two, he has amazing activities. And that when we hear about these things, we learn about them, it benefits us. It described it purifies us from the internal things that bother us. I was in a grocery store line the other day, and there were 2 magazines, Psychology Today and some Buddhist magazine, and both had titles on them, something to the effect of dealing with the demons within. It was like all about the mind. And, you know, and how the mind, and it makes us feel insufficient, it makes us feel, you know, it nags us. And I was thinking, well, that's what the Bhagavad Gita talks about, but here's people in the grocery store line spending $8 for a magazine to talk about it. Well, that's proof that it's not just me experiencing that my mind sometimes acts as my enemy, as Krishna says in the Gita. Ordinary people going ordinary life are experiencing these things, but they don't understand how to get out of that. So, hearing these things about Krishna, chanting different spiritual practices, it purifies us, and it frees us from from what's described as like our attachments or our false conception that things in the material world can satisfy us. We all need to be comfortable. This is a bhakti movement. This is not a movement of renunciation. We don't say renounce the world. We say transform the world. You still go to work, have a car, have a job, have a house, have a wife, have kids, go to college, you know, have an iPhone. You know, that's okay, but to use it in a way that doesn't bring us down, but brings us up. So, second reflection that Krishna's pastimes are actually real and they're wonderful, and we can become benefited by knowing about them. The third reflection, we should try to make decisions in our own lives. This is an important one, especially in the world today. The world is really a mess. The world is a mess, and more people are being told, you know, the bottom line is there's no higher reality, there's no real morality, there's no real goodness, it's all relative. Look out for yourself, take care of what you need, you, your family, your tribe, your company, whatever it is, short-term gain, that's all you can depend upon. And there is no, that's really what the pattern of life. Now, not everybody believes that. There's a lot of good people trying to say something else. But there's a lot of people pushing this kind of doctrine that it's all about short-term gain. And somebody needs to push back. There are good people pushing back, but part of our role as Vaishnavas is to push back against that. You know, when in the office and everybody's acting in a cutthroat way, to act a little differently. You know, when you're in the bus and everybody's, you know, complaining to the bus driver, to like stop a minute and say, well, this is a big drama going on here. These people actually think this bus ride is really important. And if they get to work to 10 minutes late, that's enough reason to get angry and threaten people and maybe punch somebody. But like, are they even going to remember this a week from now? What kind of crazy place is it that they are so disturbed in their mind? Why don't they step back a little bit? So it's up to us in our little humble ways. We have to step back and try to be, you know, not at all in an arrogant way, but in a mood of service. Try to be a little bit of an example of a different way of looking at the world. So that's a very important lesson. Ramchandra, we see when we look at the longer pastime here, I mean, he made a lot of decisions. I mean, his wife was kidnapped, and he gave up everything to go rescue her. and all the different roles, Jatayu and Lakshman, all these different, great roles of people. There's a lot of pressure on people to make short-term decisions, but we got to stand, we have to act in such a way that goes against that. As employees, as employers, as businessmen or businesswomen, the pressures to take shortcuts and to think short-term gains, to think about what's me first. But we have to actually change our lives and change that influence in society to help people see that, hey, let's make decisions, and let me make decisions, and each of us in this room as much as we can to make decisions. What's the long-term benefit for me, for my family, for my city, for my company, and not always thinking, short-term, but just to stand back and be able to say, hey, you guys may not be religious, and you may not respect what my tradition teaches, but I really believe we got to think about the impact on the earth. What's the impact of this decision on the earth? What's the impact on the country? What's the impact on the other people in the office? What's the impact on our neighbors? Can we please take these things into consideration? And there are a lot of other people in the world that are thinking like this, but there's not enough. And part of our role as Vaishnavas is to be able to make that statement. And ultimately, of course, we understand we need to get connected with Krishna to really kind of resolve the deeper issues that are there. But in a day-to-day practical way, it's not like we become a devotee of Krishna. We come here on Sundays and we talk about, love of God and chanting mantras and everything's great, and then we just go out and we live the way everybody else does. That doesn't work. That means we're not really becoming Krishna conscious. Because Krishna conscious means we're starting to see Krishna's presence, not just Sunday night or Saturday, today's Saturday, right? Not just Saturday night, but Monday morning, right? When we wake up, and our mind, just like everybody else, goes, oh, geez, I got to go to work. Our process is meant to train ourselves to wake up and think, wow, I'm breathing. That's a gift to Krishna. And now I'm going to get to go to work. And I'm going to make hopefully some kind of positive contribution to society. And I'm going to say good morning, Hare Krishna, to the bus driver who has no idea what I'm talking about. And maybe when I get out of the Uber, I'm going to say, sir, do you like to read? Oh, I don't read very much. Well, here, try one of these. You like to eat, don't you? Yeah, I like to eat. Okay, vegetarian cooking. Hey, I like carrots. Great, you'll love it. Take it. And that's part of this message that's here with Lord Ramchandra, that we are responsible people, and to try to help society understand this fact that we're responsible people. What we do can make an impact on the world, and we should try to do so in a positive way and benefit the world and benefit ourselves. It doesn't matter if we're, homemakers or businesswomen or politicians or professors or plumbers or bus drivers or engineers or students, but that we come to the temple, we live in community, we experience community to inspire us to actually think, yeah, Krishna's there. And day by day, week by week, to become to a deeper conviction, actually, he's actually there, and he's actually with me now. And when we go to the work, and the boss gives you a hard time, not to think this is the boss giving me a hard time, but to think, wow, this is a chance to be Krishna conscious. How would Prabhupada act in this situation? What would Lord Ramachandra do in this situation? What does it mean to actually be detached? Like we hear about, okay, Arjuna went to war because fight against the bad guys and risk everything. Wow, I'm kind of doing that, and I go to do some software programming. It's like my own little battle of Kurukshetra, and there's opportunities to please Krishna and resist the bad forces, whatever it might be. You go over you take a break, and you walk up to the guy and he goes, did you hear what happened to so-and-so? He's such an idiot. And you say, well, I don't think he's an idiot. I think he's got some pretty good qualities. And the whole office changes, And then you might even throw in have a good day too, Hare Krishna. Doesn't mean we can pull out your Bhagavad Gita and, preach to people at work, but you can preach by the way that we live. Wonderful quote from St. Francis of Assisi. You might have heard of it before. It's wonderful. He told his followers, you should preach all day long, and when necessary, speak a few words. Very wise. Very wise. So is there time for questions, or should we stop? Or Where's the handler? Mataji, what did we do? I went a little, maybe went a little over. Okay, one or two. Oh, we have a few more minutes. Thank you. Okay, any questions or comments? Yes, Prabhu. We only have 5 minutes, so make it an easy question.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the class, Prabhuji.
And thank you for wearing green today. Reminding me of Shree Ram.
Last year, my wife and I, we visited Boston, and we had a chance to see Paul Revere's famous path.
Okay.
But I begged that let's skip it. We were on our way to the Rath Yatra, and we saw Srila Prabhupada's monument of coming from the
in front of the temple?
Yes.
Yeah, that beautiful statue, half of it's in Calcutta, right?
And yeah.
Okay,
right.
Nice.
And so I also was wondering, and His Holiness Chandramauli Maharaj was there, who was a longtime resident sannyasi here in Chicago. So, and a lot has changed. I mean, over the years, I've seen your statement on 9/11. I think your office was responsible for finding the information of our current President Donald Trump, who actually allowed the Rath Yatra to take place in Pennsylvania some years ago.
No, that wasn't me.
Okay.
And I'm not swayed by that story, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, I thought maybe it's a communication thing. So anyway, leaving that aside.
Yeah, I'm not swayed by that story one bit.
My question is, for our movement for ISKCON 50 happened, are we past the Paul Revere time of our movement? Are we in stride to accept Srila Prabhupada's mercy as he's coming off the Jaladut and coming into our lives? Sorry if it's abstract.
So when you say Paul Revere, can you explain that a little bit? Paul Revere said in stride to...
Well, Paul Revere warned that, you know, he's had the famous quote that the British are coming, and the Americans were fighting for their freedom of religion. So is our movement, since it's gone to ISKCON 50, are we past the Paul Revere time of our movement and ready to accept Srila Prabhupada into our lives?
A couple comments, those of you that read your history books a little more carefully. Paul Revere actually got captured really early on the ride. Who was the other guy? Anybody know? There was a couple people riding, and he got captured by the British. There was another person actually that somehow Paul Revere got the fame for it. He had a better public relations firm working for him or something. But I think your point, I would answer that a little differently. We're all individuals. We're a community made up of individuals. And each of us has different lessons to learn. And each of us has different challenges to cross. And sometimes we face those individually, sometimes we face those collectively. And I mean, individually, you all can be making tremendous spiritual progress, and I might be going off to the side. So while I can benefit from the community, I have to make my own decisions. Prabhupada himself gave the example. He said, according to our understanding, I mean, everything depends upon Krishna's grace, yet Prabhupada said, just like someone learns to fly a plane, the pilot can teach you so much on the ground, but at some point you have to go up and fly your own plane. So we have that individual choice as essential element for us. So I have to make the best choices that I can. You have to make the best choices that you can to align ourselves with Krishna and his representatives and try to influence our communities to do the best they can. At the same time, we're a big organization. I'm a member of the Governing Body Commission. I have the deepest respect for all of those people around the table. I also have deep respect for other people that are taking like responsibilities on an ISKCON. You know, people that have taken on the service of serving as Diksha gurus, initiating gurus in our movement. Tremendous pressure, tremendous amount of responsibility, tremendous commitment. I have the deepest respect for those people, deepest respect for the GBC, but I don't agree with every decision in the GBC. I just don't. I don't agree with every decision of the American government, but I'm still here. I still pay taxes. I still follow the speed limits, especially when I know there's one of those machines on the side of the road. You know, I do the best I can, but I don't, you know, it's not a perfect system. So even in our ISKCON society, I mean, we have to be, you know, part of it is honesty. One of the biggest dangers of religious communities is if we start assuming that because somebody's a devotee, or, you know, someone's a, okay, you know, someone's a devotee, therefore they are necessarily going to act like a perfect lady or a perfect gentleman. It's not a fact. We're struggling human beings. Just because someone's a priest, you know, the Catholic Church is reeling from this because there's an assumption somebody's a priest, they got to be a good guy, but we know they weren't. And we experience in our own community sometimes. I heard a story earlier today, it was kind of disturbing, about devotees taking advantage of other devotees. So we're not blind. I mean, you know, if you come to me and, you know, if I, anyway, we all have like, can be trusted up to a point, right? They say, what is it? Every man has his, I hate to say price. What is it? Something like, you know, we all have, we suffer from, we can be tempted by different things. Within community, we protect ourselves, but we also need systems, you know. Just like ISKCON learned the hard way, like many, many communities, we have strict principles. I pray they're followed here and everywhere else about child protection, because we learned, nice person walks in the door, the big smile on their face doesn't mean you can trust them with kids. We learned that. You know, nice person walks in the door, big smile on their face doesn't mean we can trust them with money. Big person walks in the, you know, etc., etc. So, as a community, individually I have to do my best. As a community, we do our best. And at the same time, we have to have systems in place to try to, you know, look at checks and balances. And when we make mistakes, we have to do better. So I think I couldn't answer your question with a yes or no. I would answer it's an ongoing process. And let's be more careful, more attentive, and more optimistic, but at the same time not naive as we go forward. Okay? Announcements now? Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Ramachandra ki jai.
Thank you very much, Anuttama Prabhu. Just inviting everyone now to take part in the feast, which, if you're not familiar, is out these double doors and up the stairs. So please eat nicely. The cooks have been serving nicely the entire day to have a feast ready for everybody, so please take full advantage. Hare Krishna.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, 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 Shri Ram Jai Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Ragupati Raghav Raja Ram, Patita Pavana Sita Ram. Ragupati Raghav Raja Ram, Patita Pavana Sita Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Rama
हरि की जय, स्वानिताई की जय, जगन्नाथ बलिष्ठ भगवान की जय। जय गो गुरुनंदे।
Sorry, it's like such a horribly low scale.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo bolo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Everybody bolo bolo Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. I go Premanandi.
Krishna